Well, when we take assessments and things like the Iowa assessments, you put in your score and then you can see your progress from like the last time that you took it, and then you can have your goals for the next time.
I just put it in after I take one of those tests.
After I take the Edify Assess test, I put my scores in, and then like every once in a while I'll answer or the questions on the top, like when it asks me like how my year's going and stuff like that.
I use profile sheets for IEPs. I use the data for data points to see if kids still need support in special education. I'm also a part of an MTSS pilot group in the 7th grade, and we look at that data to create groups for MTSS and supplemental reading instruction during Bobcat time.
So once you take one of those tests, like the Iowa assessment ones or like the Edify, you put in what you got and then you put your goal.
We use them for putting like our scores in from Skills Iowa, and we like look back at what we have like improved on.
So profile sheets store all the students' information over time, and if you look at the profile sheet at the bottom, there are tabs for different years. So one way that I use profile sheets was when a student maybe scored something that didn't seem to fit with how they were performing in the class, I could go back and check their stuff from the year before and maybe even the year before that to see if there's a trend, or even students who maybe are a little lower than where we would like to be, but to be able to track progress. So if there's a year behind in their reading level, maybe they were 2 years behind last year, so then we can see that growth and success without having to go dig out all of those old documents.
To put my test scores in after we take the test, the teachers make us put it in.
Okay.
We use profile sheets where the students get a chance to record their test scores and be able to look back at it and just have a record of how they've done in class.
I think it's really important because it keeps track of all your scores and they're all right there, and you can see like it gives you the score that you're supposed to have, and then you put in your score and you can see like where you're at.
At the beginning of the year to the end of the year, I like to see how I improved on that.
I don't think it's very important because sometimes like the questions on the test don't really seem that important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's important to like look back and see how you've improved and stuff.
Getting our kids to look at data is a really important piece of profile sheets. If we want our kids to use the data, then we have to put it in front of them. And getting them to reflect on that several times throughout the year is a really important skill for students to learn.
That too.
I don't know, kind of important because it keeps all your records, kind of.
And
Not really,
why not?
because I don't know what we use it for.
That too.
Very important. We look at those to write baseline data to figure out where we should start them at and to make a goal as to where we want them to be in comparison to their peers.
I really do not know.
I don't know because
I think they use it to see where they can improve, like where they need to improve, like teaching us, like where we're not very strong in and where they need to work on.
Track the kids, and for me as a junior and senior level teacher primarily, it's really neat to go back and to be able to see the trend in their data and how much they've improved over the years. And that was one thing that was really missing for the kids. So this is a really great way then for the kids to actually be able to look back and see, how did I do on this last year? Because a lot of them can't remember.
I think they check and see your scores, and if you're progressing, and if you're not progressing, they will talk to you and see what the issue is there.
They look at my scores and see if I've improved and how, like where I should be and where I am.
For special ed students, I know at least I talk with them individually and make sure that they have their scores filled in. If they don't, we go back to Skills Iowa and look for those scores and fill them in and try to make a goal for the next time that they take those tests, saying, let's look at the growth that you made from the first test to the next test, and then what's a reasonable goal to make before you go on to your next one, and thinking what you need to do in order to improve from where you're at to where you want to be.
I hope students are using it just to see the growth that they have throughout the course of the year. Hopefully that provides more motivation of the schooling, the process that works, and that their effort is leading to a direct correlation of how they're scoring.